Now entering Nerdist.com.
Jackie Cation, Laurie Kilmartin. Jackie Cation, Laurie Kilmartin. It's the Jackie and Laurie Show. The Jackie and Laurie Show. It's the Jackie and Laurie Show. The Jackie and Laurie Show.
Oh my God.
Hello, Laurie
You're
Kilmartin.
telling stories off mic. We have 2 hours to fill tonight. What's wrong with you?
know.
Save everything.
Every word. I told Kyle that we had to get more water. I'm Jackie Cation.
Don't even save that. Save the water request for the show.
Oh, that's a clock eater, too. Hey,
Yes.
Kyle, let's wait. I won't say another word until Kyle goes to get more
Could
water.
this be a sequel to Clock Eaters 2, followed by 3?
Ooh, clock eaters, too. When will we write that script? It's, so,
What were you talking about when I walked in here?
who to complain to?
About
Your quality problems. Because Kyle's working. No, because Kyle's working a lot and things are going good. So he's got to find people at the perfect level to complain to. Right? Because you can't complain down.
No, you can't.
Because everyone's sad that
This
they
whole
don't.
podcast is a complaint down to some
Right,
people.
exactly.
You know? Oh, let me hear these bitches talk about working. Wow.
These bitches talking about working. You might have named this one right out the bat. Oh my God, that's hilarious.
Well, I had half a beer with Marcella Arguello, so
Oh, so you are already want to go to sleep. A half a beer is not going to do shit. A half a beer is not going to keep you going.
I'm not you. I'm a lightweight.
Oh, that's right. You're you're not
rarely
an alcoholic. So
right.
You're like, I don't need all the beer, Jackie. I don't think you understand. I just did a set over at the Lemley in North Hollywood, and I opened with this joke, by the way. I said, hey, do you guys all live here? And they said, yes. And I said, so you could put a Lemley in North Hollywood, but you can't really take North Hollywood out of North Hollywood. So, because it was just crawling with just valley, like cool valley people, which is such a oxymoron. I've lived in the valley the entire time I've lived here.
How did that joke work?
Oh, dead frickin' crickets. And then a couple of minutes later.
2 in a row then, eh?
Then the mic went out.
Oh.
And I said, am I being censored because of that joke? And then it didn't go back on. And so I was like, all right, well, I guess I'm doing an acapella. So I go do it acapella. And someone's like, there's another mic behind you. And I said, it also doesn't work because it wasn't turned. So I checked it and I had 2 mics up. 2 mics up to your face as a lady comic. What happens?
Oh, man.
That joke.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. It's a good one. It's a classic.
So that was a movie theater. You're doing stand-up at a movie theater?
Yeah, for Rich Scheidner. Remember Rich Scheidner?
I just listened to his WTF.
Oh, yeah?
It's so good.
Oh, there you go.
It's totally worth listening to. It's great.
Okay.
He talks about, comedy back in the day. When those guys were like kings, we were just starting. We were just little princesses.
We were just pods.
Yeah.
We're
And they
just
were all
tadpoles.
coked up and headlining.
And talking to waitresses possibly into having sex.
It's good memories.
Yep. It was a pretty good
how
one.
much time have we done, Kyle?
Well, the acapella thing did remind me. I heard it was. Do you know Brad Upton?
Yes.
That's another.
He's a Seattle comic. I worked with him at the Last Laugh many times in Seattle and
Great
Phoenix.
comic, right?
Great comic, and he's also a track coach. And I think his daughter is a fast runner. He was
So
a
he's a
runner.
good person.
He was working out and running like in Phoenix in the 90s.
Wow.
I mean, in the 1990s. It might have been in the hundreds.
Right. Well, because he was, I guess he really did really well at this. There was a festival in Montana.
Oh, yeah.
And the mic went out, and some comic was telling me this story about how, when the mic goes out, what do? You just keep going.
Yeah, sure.
Right. I mean, no, I only have
That's the
20
thing
minutes.
that breaks us. All the other stuff we can put up with.
Right. Electricity. That's when the jokes stop. So yeah, it's so I guess he just kept going super pro, and this comic was like, he was such a pro, and I'm like, yeah, isn't he 100? Hasn't he been doing it since the dawn of man?
Way to give a guy a compliment and then
right?
shiv him in the back.
Is that what I just
He's
did?
not 100, yeah.
Okay.
You just said what a great guy, what a great comic.
No, he is a great
old?
guy. No, he's a great comic, but I mean, you were just saying how we all know what to do because that's not
Yeah.
the thing that breaks us.
Right.
That's all I'm saying. Oh, if you would like to mock me more, you may. I am here for you.
This is half a beer, Lori.
Half a beer, Lori. That's
hope
there
you
we
can
go.
handle
There's
it.
another one.
Did you? I wasn't upset about the list on Refinery. I was like, oh,
yeah,
another
Refinery
list.
29.
But then
neither of us were on, but it was a good list.
I'm
I
sure it was
thought.
a fine list.
Oh, you didn't?
I didn't look at the list. I
Okay.
did. Once I gleaned I wasn't on because no one told me I was on. And then I became anti-list.
Then you're. I'm often anti-list.
But just on Facebook, there's a lot of other really funny female comics who aren't on the list. And do
Right.
you list makers know the trauma that you cause
the rest of us.
Yes.
Yes.
Because especially when you pick 30 people, that means you probably started with 100 and then we're Kilmartin, nah, Cation, no, nah.
Right.
We're just your throwaways until you narrow it down.
To whatever, and what were the criteria?
I
mean,
don't
they were
know.
all good. They all look great.
Yeah.
And some of them I had never heard of, but they all seem to
Sure.
have video online, which is so important.
That is so hard to do.
That is so
to get
hard
a
to
video
do.
online.
It's important that we all have a video online, you guys, to get work.
Yeah.
So,
And we're since you looked at the whole list, were there any our age?
Bamford and Sarah Silverman, I think it was.
So to be our age,
You
you,
had to be
have to
famous.
be famous
That
and a
does
veteran
help.
of at least one sitcom.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, you have to have a movie career
Mm-hmm.
and be super famous in our age.
Excuse me, I'm going to drink some water like it's beer.
Yeah, I did get an email from a fan too. Actually, I just got one today asking when either of us were going to come to Tampa. And I've been to. Have you been to Tampa?
I haven't.
Florida?
I know
an
there's a club
improv.
called. Oh, I thought there was a Side Splitters there.
There's
too.
also a Side Splitters, which I've never. I don't like the name of it, but
Yeah,
the
I'm
thing
already
is
suspicious.
I'm totally suspicious
Yeah.
of a club called Side Splitters. That
getting a refundable plane ticket.
I don't understand why I'm okay with Acme, why I'm okay with Laughs, where I'm okay with the Comedy Castle, but Side Splitters, that's my Rubicon.
It's they're trying a little bit too hard.
Well-
Laughs is a lack of imagination, but it's also very. You know why
yeah.
you're here.
Everyone knows. City Comedy Club, I like it.
City Comedy Club.
You know when they say the name of the city?
Oh, yeah,
and then
yeah,
Comedy Club.
yeah,
Tacoma
that's
Comedy
perfect.
Club? Yes.
Perfect.
Spokane. And so I asked around, and I'm sure this will be, my third act of the movie The Wrestler that I plan on living when
Oh my God.
when
That movie gave me the chills on so many levels.
It's because it's stand-up comedy.
It
That's
is
what it is.
completely stand-up comedy.
It's
and
not-
stand-up might actually be more abusive to your body.
Oh, very possible. With all the
You do
jumping.
one 12-hour drive. Yeah.
So, but I'm sure I'll want Bobby Jewell. That's who books it. A guy named Bobby Jewell.
Yeah. Was he a stand-up?
And he's also a stand-up who.
Right.
So I ask around. I go deep into my road comic buddies, right?
Yeah.
And they're like, he's okay. He steals everybody's act and does sort of. It's nice to work with him because you get to hear what everybody's working on.
So he's like the house MC
Yeah.
that's doing the act
Yep.
from the week before.
Yep. And I heard he's one of these guys that. This is the story I heard. It was so. Let's say you agreed you're going to get 900 to headline for the weekend, and I'm like, no, but okay. First of
Wait,
all,
who gave you that horrific scenario? What
just
poor
road-
creature thinks that's acceptable?
right?
Oh
That's
my
a road
God.
comic. That's a guy working the road hardcore.
That's
He's
the
hard-
wrestler right there.
That's the
They're
westler.
like making 900 that
Yeah,
weekend. That's
900 the weekend.
It's
Good enough for me at this point. So, and it's fine if I lived in Minneapolis and there was a room, 2.5 hours away that paid 900 for the weekend, I'd do it.
Sure.
That's different.
Yeah.
For me to fly to Florida for $900 is a
Yes,
disaster.
a 6-hour. That's 12 hours on a plane. But
and
yeah, okay.
a $600 flight.
Yeah.
So so he says you get he says $900. He's the kind of guy that gives you 8.25. And then you have to ask for the extra $75 because he's a ball buster supposedly. And you're like, when you ask him, and then the other comic was telling me, said, because I double checked it with another comic, that said, yeah, but here's the good thing is that if he sells out, if you've already gone through that thing where he does the one time where he tries to underpay you and you call him on it, from then on, if he does really well, he'll bump you a couple $100. Oh my God. And I was like, who wants to fucking play a minuet with this goddamn
Yes,
guy.
I'm so tired of self-professed ball busters. Oh wow, you're crazy. You're an asshole, and you know it.
Yeah. Congratulations.
So you're not, since you've just you've lost the opportunity to work at Side Splitters now because of
Well, the thing is, someone was talking about going
monologue.
to Tampa.
yeah.
And so I was like, well, look into what else is there. Because the Tampa Improv, first of all, the Improv doesn't book me. And second of all, they're all 450 seat, 600 seat
There's got to be
caverns.
some little rock club or something.
Right. I'd ask Kyle Kinane or Sean
Yeah.
Patton or one of those guys.
Yeah.
I'm sure there's something there that I could do. And I could probably, do it with a live Dork Forest and then a stand-up show. And might make enough. I might make $900 is what I might make. But I'd do it on my terms.
Yeah.
And it'd be fine. And I, for some reason, wouldn't care.
You are the wrestler. You're doing the harder gig for lesser money, but it's my terms. Goddamn it!
It's on my
That's
terms.
Right.
That's right.
You win.
Small triumphs.
You win in your casket while the improv headliners live 20 more years.
Exactly, because they were put in cotton wool as they were shipped off to do an improv. Ian Bagg, living it up. I like Ian Bagg a great deal, but he plays all those things, and I think he does really well there.
That's cool. It's
gift.
hard. It's a hard life, man. It is hard to continually do road work.
Talk to me. I'm home for 2 whole weeks, and I'm psyched.
That's amazing.
It's literally, besides, because doing both Maria's stuff and my stuff, it's just been kind of tiring, and it's great.
It's great to be tired.
It's great to be tired.
You say yes
but-
to everything. You're a comic, right? Yeah.
Right. I
mean,
keep
you
saying
can't-
yes. I gotta, yeah. So, but I was trying to figure out the cities and I think I'm like 2 weekend cities runs behind in getting paid, but I have a lot of money. So I'm just like, I have to continue to
Are
care.
people sending you checks or something?
Yeah, there's checks being sent to me after, on top of checks that I get there.
Okay.
And the whole thing is, talk about a quality, but it makes my head spin a little bit, and I've got to figure out taxes, and I'm
Yeah.
like, well, if I'm making good money, I should definitely send in more tax money. And
Are you? Do you have an IRA?
no, I have a Roth IRA.
Okay,
Is that
so
something?
yeah, that's something.
Okay, yeah, I gotta
you're-
put more
you're-
into it,
You're
though.
shoveling as much as you can into that.
Well, I got to max. I want to max out on it this year too.
Yeah.
So I should totally do that.
Mm-hmm.
So
Do you get those little Social Security notices, like what you'll?
what I'll make per?
Yeah,
Yeah.
You know, I used to not give a shit about this stuff because I was going to be famous and successful. But now I'm like, oh, I got to do some math, figure out how I can afford to live.
I talked to my dad today, who made no plans ever, and he told me he sold 2 windows a couple of weeks ago.
How old's
And
your dad?
79.
Oh boy.
And I was like, he said, and people say, why are you still selling? And I was like, well, 'cause I like to. And I said, I suppose it's just like stand up for
Yeah,
him,
I'm sure
you know?
it is. Yeah, my dad worked till he was hospitalized.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is because he liked his work,
Yeah.
right? What was his work?
He's an engineer.
Okay. Choo choo.
No.
I don't know.
Oh my god.
Electrical, medicinal.
He was
Is there a medicinal engineer.
hydrology
Oh,
engineer.
Hydraulic.
Water.
Okay, he made water look smart. Is that what he did? Was he smart about the way water goes?
Whenever my dad would talk about engineering, I would my eyes would shut and my ears would shut. Like I couldn't take it in. It was so boring to me.
Is it like when I bring
feel
up Lord
so
of the
bad.
Rings?
I wish I'd listened.
No, you're good. It's okay. There were other conversations to be had. So,
Sure.
there was a drunk dude in Kansas City when Maria was on stage.
Really?
Who just yelled out from the audience. He was like, "Do voices.
Oh no.
Do some different voices."
So he is a fan.
Total fan. And he was like, and Maria stops her set and she goes, "For what? I probably will do voices in my act as we go. What do you mean?" And he goes, "From Lady Dynamite, do voices." And she said,
Oh.
"Well, you know that this isn't Lady Dynamite, that this is actually just my stand-up set." And he was like, "Yeah." And she
Oh, so
did-
she's getting a whole bunch of people
From
that
Lady
are new to
Dynamite.
stand up.
Yeah.
Ugh. Oh my god. They don't know how to behave.
Right, they don't know. They're new to stand-up. Yes.
Do you know I read another article about Yonder.
Thank
which
God
is,
you read an article. What was it? What was in Yonder?
Oh, I read a lot. I got a lot. Yonder's they're little pouches that you put your cell phone in when you're an audience member, and they deactivate everything. And then if you want to, and it's locked. If you want to use it, you have to go outside the venue.
Oh, and get someone to unlock it for
Yeah.
you? Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yeah, and so like Dave Chappelle and Louis and a lot of people are using them. A lot of stand-ups.
Okay. Yeah,
Which is it's weird because I was at this one show recently, and somebody was just videotaping the comic in front of me, and sometimes it's like their friend,
Yeah.
you know. So I
course.
went up and I said, "Are they okay?" There's a couple of people on stage. I go, "Are they okay with you videotaping that?" And she goes, "Should I delete it?"
yeah,
I guess you should.
Because the answer to that is no. They're not okay
Yeah.
with it because they didn't ask you
But
to.
it was so weird, that feeling of, I have the right to tape this.
Right.
You know?
They're not cops. These are not. It's
Yeah,
not
this
a
is-
public service. It's not a public service. Public service. This is an art form.
Yeah, no one's being beaten on stage. Someone
Yeah.
might be dying on stage, but they're
Sure.
not being beaten.
That guy's eating it. Let's get that on tape.
But I mean, there was no recognition that you're stealing something from somebody when you're taking their act and putting it on your phone. You're
Yeah, that
actually
is
taking
weird.
stuff from them.
Yeah.
And you know, I don't know how to solve this, but it's this whole, I want everything free. I want to read every article in the New York Times without paying for the New York Times. You know what I mean? It's just, I don't have a solution, but it is really
irritating.
frustrating.
It is. Well, this guy wants to write an article, and he was like, "Hey, do you have a copy of that set? Because I'd love to not misquote you." And I was like, "I have a copy of it because I'm trying to listen to my sets. What you want? You didn't. You're a reporter. You didn't remember my set? Then don't quote the thing. I
Or
guess."
can he just run a joke by you to make sure he's got it right or something? Why does
how
he
about
have
that? I don't know, but I eventually just caved and sent it to him.
to? Well, you took a stand for a little while.
I did.
And Brad Upton
folded.
would be proud of you.
Exactly, and then folded like a house of goddamn cards. I don't know, but it was so funny because after the heckler guy, Maria goes, "Oh, I used that old heckler line," and I was like, "Yeah, that's why they're there."
I don't come to your place and knock where you work.
No,
and knock
it's an
the
old
dicks
heckler
out of
line
you.
she wrote. That's a perfectly good old heckler. I'll use that.
I heard that was Letterman at the Comedy Store.
He
That's
wrote that?
legend. That's a legend. I don't know if
Okay.
it's true. I don't come
Right.
to where you work and knock the dicks out of your mouth.
That's a-
or knock the Slurpee machine out of your, or whatever it is.
Right,
However
McDonald's,
you,
the fry
if
basket.
you've decided the person is a prostitute or they work the fry. You have to decide on the profession.
I don't come and jump on the bed when you're working.
Yes, that's where it gets creative. Is what
Right.
how you're going to slam the person, but then you do have to
Right.
pick things from that.
You have the setup, you have the
fuck.
punch.
I just spilled water.
Is there a towel? We're working with electronics. It's good. Yes,
Keep it rolling.
this counts as time. We're
I have
still
a
talking.
Wool sweater. Oh, thank you.
There you go. There's a bunch of here. I'll hold that.
Okay, you're holding
And,
wires.
I'll hold the wires up
Out
just
of-
because it's an electrical moment.
out of
you
water.
guys. This is This is an organic podcasting
and
moment,
here's
you guys.
we can't because I'm going to New York this week. For
Are you?
like 8 or 9 days? That's why we
that's
can't.
right.
We have to do 2 tonight.
That's right.
Get to do 2
When
tonight.
that's there you go. There's the cheerful girl we knew was in there.
So, all right.
When are you going? This will go up Monday.
This
By
is
the
all-
way,
yeah,
oh, but I want to. When are you going to New York?
I'm flying out on Saturday.
Okay, so
And-
even before this goes, you'll be in New York
I'll be in New York, and then I'll be doing spots in New York City.
for 8 days.
Yeah, basically.
Is Conan shooting?
We're shooting shows at the Apollo
cool.
Monday through Thursday.
Because nobody says Apollo more than Conan O'Brien, historically.
Girl, you're gonna eat those words.
Oh my God! Do you want to talk about the Black Experience?
Hold on. Let's wait for a second.
Okay.
Because I need to tell you I'm flying business class again.
Oh
on
no!
Saturday.
Somebody got addicted. So-
No, I mean, if you're in the
did
Writers
this-
Guild, and if there's no other reason to get in the Writers Guild, it's this: is that when they fly you someplace,
You have to go
Part of
business?
the rule is they have to fly you business class at
Oh,
least.
that's so great.
Yeah. So like when I did shows in Gutter or Guitar or
Yeah.
however it's pronounced, I flew business on Arab Emirates.
Yeah.
And I still I
think
still
about that.
fantasize about it. Like it might have been one of the greatest experiences of my life.
Well, some of those foreign flight. I mean, what was it?
It was about 12 hours.
It was a 12-hour flight, and there was a bed that probably went totally flat.
Totally flat. Every channel
Was the
in every
hummus
language.
The hummus was
Food
amazing.
was amazing. Booze nonstop if you want it, except for when we went into Arab airspace, I guess. Yeah.
Right, and then they stopped.
Yeah, there was an open bar where we could mingle with first class. Like that wasn't even first. Rumor had it first had a shower.
Rumors had that.
Yeah,
first
no one
class.
confirmed. But okay, but let's you and I talk about the black experience.
Okay, so I am just wandering around Twitter like you
Right.
do.
Yes.
And all of a sudden, I see that someone is mad at Amy Schumer
Right.
again, and I was like, why are they mad? First of all, this is a sign of how old I am. By the way, I
Yeah.
think of Amy Schumer. I'm like, well, she's only been doing stand up for a couple of years.
I know. But also,
She's just the biggest goddamn thing in the world. But I'm thinking she's just a kid. Leave her alone.
she's probably like 13 in at this point.
You think she's 13 in?
Yeah,
Okay.
I think she was
It's more
10
than
when
10.
all that stuff was happening, when it
Okay.
all began. But yeah, like just getting mad at comics still,
Yeah.
it's just stupid.
Oh, and to get into this, I'll tell you that I heard half of an interview. Okay, so Maria and I do Kansas City.
Right.
And then we do Des Moines. So we to fly from Kansas City to Des Moines will take 5.5 hours of airport.
Yeah.
Well, so we just rent a car in Kansas City, drive to Des Moines, 2.5 hours drive. And then I drop the car off the next day at the airport and we fly home.
That's nice.
And it was nice. And quite honestly, it was really nice because I haven't driven just a couple of hours to do a set in a long time.
Yeah.
And it felt like old school road stuff.
Yeah.
And so it was fun. We stopped at the truck stop. Good times.
Oh.
It was
But
quite,
was it a Flying J?
It was.
That's my favorite kind of truck stop.
It was exactly like a Flying J because it had clothing. Always a truck stop with clothing. It had camo with rhinestones if you couldn't pick.
Did you cassette tapes?
There was definitely
Some
you could buy
bootleg
some,
Foxworthy?
There was definitely some bootleg.
Sure.
There was some definitely secondhand DVDs going
Oh,
on.
I miss those truck stop days.
Yeah, they
just
were-
driving like there's another one in 4 hours, so I'm just going to drive
Yep.
the next straight 4 hours and then stop.
Yeah. It felt really, except for, of course, I can't drive for 4 hours anymore because that's a learned skill and I'm out of practice. But she had an interview with one of the newspapers for some gig coming up. And so I heard her half of it. And this guy must have asked her about Leslie Jones or Melissa Villasenor or somebody who got
Okay.
just crucified by the internet recently.
Yeah.
And Maria goes, yeah, I assume that one day they're just all going to hate me. I'm going to say the wrong thing and they're all going to turn on me and it's all going to be over. And she said, that's why I like and favorite everything. I like and favorite everything. Even if they've told me to kill myself, I like it. I favorite it. Because you know what? I thought about killing myself. It can't be that bad of an idea. I was like, holy
That's
shit.
a great line.
It was
oh my
so
God.
great. And then, so I was drawn to the drama of, and Ryan Stout did this for a month. He Googled comedy controversy, stand-up comedy controversy for a month. And then followed it down the rabbit hole of some joke that somebody made and how mad everyone got. We did an episode about the Dork Forest about
Oh,
it.
cool.
Ryan Stout's the greatest as
Yeah.
far as on the Dork Forest because he's like a terrier. The guy will just hold on to a topic for 57 minutes. And what happened is Amy Schumer, Goldie Hawn, Wanda Sykes, and somebody and a bunch of other white women and one other black woman who I
Yeah.
think is a comic, but I can't remember anybody else's name.
Yeah.
All did a Formation parody video
Yeah. And by the way, Formation came out like
6 months ago.
6-8 months ago. Yeah.
Right.
So it's not like she's the first. She's not jumping ahead of the line to do it. Like it's
Right.
almost like too late to do a Formation parody.
Well, and it wasn't even much of a parody.
Yeah, it was just-
Do you know what it reminded me of? It
What?
reminded me of girls who had friends when they were 11 or 12 and like the popular song had come out.
Yeah,
And
and
they
you
would
just
choreograph
reenact
to
it.
it.
Yeah.
And and of course, I wish that she had done that because every time the word Negro was said, it was either Wanda Sykes or that black woman comic, and then the rest of it was her and Goldie Hawn and other white people, and it just went on forever, and it was
It was
looked
fine.
fun.
It looked fun to do, and you know, if Goldie Hawn wanted to do, I would do anything Goldie Hawn wanted me to do.
Right, I don't know,
Yeah.
but the Formation song, it's not for us. It's not for middle-aged white ladies.
No.
It is. I mean, the thing is it's just go to spin class. It's going to be fine. They'll play Formation. You'll spin to it. You'll Roomba or whatever the fuck people are doing. And
Yes, I see what you're saying, but it's out.
it
you
is
know?
indeed out.
And-
so she got some heat for it, and
But-
the heat was kind of
She didn't get heat from Beyonce.
no. I don't think so.
No.
No. It was essentially just writers.
But I was interested in their point of view and
Yes.
the conversation, and I could see how, you know,
Where it came
would
from.
feel like, you're just biting off a little piece of culture and just putting it in your thing
Right.
without.
It was because it's not. It made complete sense why the women who were mad about it were mad about
Yeah.
it, and why they were railing about it.
Right. Although it also makes sense that who gives a fuck?
It does make
Really?
it makes sense who gives a fuck, but there's a point in, and I say this as a lifelong hippie skippy liberal, protesting, going to for 30 years of sit-ins and apartheid and to pro-choice.
You're
to
way more committed than me.
Nicaragua, and this whole thing, and it's so. I've heard in the 90s I worked at a t-shirt poster shop called Northern Sun Merchandising, and this woman came to work one day and she was crying. It's a white woman, and she said, "I'm not allowed to be in the drumming circle because I'm not black." And they're only having black women and black men in the drumming circle. They said that white people have co-opted the drum too many times, the black drumming. And I was like, I got furious, and I was just like, well, did black people get to play the trumpet? And and it just went to this whole thing. But it's there's just a straw and there's a point where you think, well, I'm a liberal, I should be able to weigh in on this, and I'm an ally, I'm a supporter of all this stuff. And when I was 33 years old, I had that super epiphany of, oh, maybe I should shut the fuck up. And then I forgot it for 5 years, and I had to be reminded.
Yeah.
So I get where this is coming from, where you're like, well, that isn't for us. So just play with your friends and listen to it and jam out in your car, but don't necessarily make a video. So I understood their rage. I understood their anger.
Yeah.
But yes, as comics, who gives a shit?
Yeah. And, it seems like a waste of energy to get mad at comedy and to get mad at
But it
somebody
wasn't
who's doing
really comedy.
No, but I mean, it's, I don't know. But as you and I said on email when we
Yes.
were looking at this thing, probably the real problem is that there aren't enough black female comics who are out there doing whatever, who are getting the prominent positions.
There you go, 'cause they're out
that
there.
Amy Schumer or
Yeah.
other white female comics are getting. And so it feels like, there's a Formation parody and it's being done by a white comic.
Right.
And
When there are plenty of black comics that are doing that, but nobody gives a shit.
yeah,
It's
or
like- it's
they're
like-
not on Comedy Central. Or they're not, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like, so they're not getting.
They don't have $100,000 to
it feels like-
shoot it in Louisiana.
Sure.
So, but it's the same thing with like women comics. People are always like, well, there aren't as many women comics, and you're like, there are a lot of women comics.
There's a ton. There's
And guess
more
what?
than 30 Refinery.
It's and what I think is, it's just like, because they're like, well, there aren't enough black women comics. You're like, yeah, there are. Turns
There's a
out,
lot.
There's a shitload. All you got to do is scratch the surface, my friend, and you will find.
Yeah.
Just go talk to Joy L. Johnson. She probably knows at least 13 people you don't know.
Yeah, and
So-
then when you put one on TV, then you're going to inspire like at least 55 more.
Right.
You know what I mean?
If there's anything television loves, it's a copycat. Television loves to copy something that worked. So,
But it's weird. Like I here's why I understand what they're saying in a way. Like I have a joke that's an older joke now that I probably wouldn't write now.
Yeah.
That's about my son, right? And my son is Latino,
Right.
Or he's half Latino, but in the eyes of
The world, he's entirely
the
Mexican.
Police, he's,
Right?
He's
In the eyes of
Mexican.
the-
In the eyes of Donald Trump, he's Mexican, right? So I had it, and I still do this if I need the time, and I did it on Conan.
Sure.
But it's like my son is. So I'm just doing this joke as an example. I'm not trying to do material on the podcast.
Wow.
Fucking
Could you
hate
just
me.
work your fucking act into this podcast more often, Gil Martin?
That's got to be a whole podcast. Is people that work bits into a conversation that they're trying.
Without any warning, without any.
No. Yeah,
it's not
stab.
okay. It's not okay. Just tell me that you want to run a joke by me, and I will be happy to listen to it.
Yes. So this joke was my son is half Mexican. He looks completely Mexican. He's actually born with a tattoo on his neck. The teardrop came at age
Yes.
3. He's
Oh, that's
99th
right.
percentile. So that's like it's a joke where I'm really taking something from that culture,
Right.
And it's like taking that little jewel and putting it on my joke,
Right.
You know. And I'm a white woman saying it, and I guess I feel like I can because it's my son and it's part of my
Right.
blood. But it really is a steal
From that culture.
From that culture.
Yeah.
And even though it's a good joke and I got a
Yeah.
good laugh, but then I kind of got bored with it and had done it on TV, so I just sort of put it away. And then I was at a show and there were some Hispanic comics doing a neck tattoo joke, and
Yeah.
I was like, I felt like, oh, like
Pull it out.
yeah. Just like, oh, that, it's when you were raised in that culture, you want to talk about it from your point of view. And so to have me just come up and go, well, I have a son, so I'm going to take this one. It's like taking an ornament off your Christmas tree
Right.
and putting
Yeah.
it on mine.
Yeah.
So,
There's
so,
no reason-
So like now I feel like that's still my reality with me being white and my son being Hispanic. But I feel like the jokes I might be doing now,
I'm trying to tell Kyle something subtly, but you're not.
you're not. You
interested.
first of all, you just wrote a big note to him,
Yeah.
and you held it up, and he's ignoring the note.
Right.
So I'm talking to no one right now,
Oh, I don't think that's
and I'm
true.
talking from my heart.
It's so beautiful, and I already have
What's the
fucking
note
agreed with you.
Why
I
would you
already-
pass notes?
Well, because we don't want to include you. No, I'm just talking. Oh my god! You want to mock me? We can take this to town. No, what you're saying is real, and I just told him to tell me when we were at 55, so we could
Oh,
fucking
okay.
end this one and
Yes.
start the next one.
Yeah, okay.
I'm totally on your side.
You know what? Don't get too excited. We're probably at 12. Okay, you're already thinking.
31.
Look at
Might
that.
as well.
31. No, but what you're saying is here's what I appreciate about that story you just told is that you're now essentially overthinking a joke that you told. In the moment,
Yeah.
you tell the joke.
Right.
In the moment, that's what comics do. We fucking tell the joke to tell the joke.
Yeah, and at the time it felt 100%
Okay.
okay, and
Yeah.
I didn't feel like I was doing that.
Right, you didn't
actually.
think you were co-opting an entire
Yes.
prison block in the middle of nowhere, but now and there's no problem with a learning curve. That's what I like.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's why I don't have because people are like, I said something, not to you, but to a different comic, and they said, well, you can't say anything about Amy Schumer ever, and I'm like, sure I can. I can. I'm not saying that it doesn't make me like Amy Schumer less. I'm just saying that I thought it was a weird thing to do, but super fun. I know why she did it. It was super fun, right?
But also, that's that age of women. I
What is
mean,
she 33? 32?
yeah,
Yeah.
they fucking love Beyonce. I like Beyonce. I don't
Yeah.
live for her, and she doesn't,
Changed my life.
Yes, no, but I understand how she's an icon to that
that
millennial,
whole- right.
no matter what you're, if you're black or white or
Yes.
or whatever. So they're going to have white women are going to have this response to her as well.
Right. It would be like whatever that is for us. I was still listening
Janet
to her.
Jackson?
Thank you. There you go. I knew that you would have something that was apropos. I was still listening to stuff from the 70s. So it was... I was incorrect.
After Nasty Woman,
right.
of course you had to watch. I had went and rewatched Nasty Girl or Janet Jackson. Oh, such a good video.
It's a great video. I do remember that
And then I
video.
look at her. She just had the baby, 50.
Right, she had 50 years old, had a baby.
Yeah.
Was it made in a petri dish and then put in her?
Probably.
Right,
You know,
we don't know all
it's
the
not-
details.
It's
She
gotta
told
be.
us some of the.
It's gotta be. There's no, you can't.
She must have frozen her eggs 15 years ago,
Maybe.
right?
Yeah, the dude, the donor.
who's the donor?
That's her husband. He's very young. He's a lot younger than she is.
Okay, well
so that's
then
good. That's always good.
Half a shot.
Yeah. When you have
goodness.
old eggs, you need young sperm.
Right, and maybe she did freeze eggs a couple dozen years ago or something like that.
But the other thing, like, I used to, like, I don't really even talk about race anymore. And
Yeah.
I used to talk about it. When I moved to New York, first of all, every comic talks about race in New York. And even
Okay.
still they do, which is weird because I kind of stopped out here.
Yeah.
You know? Maybe, I don't know why. No one here does, really.
I never do. I don't.
White
I mean,
comics
if it comes
don't.
up,
Yeah.
If it comes up, I'll discuss it. And but the stuff that I write, have you seen Baron Vaughn recently?
Yes.
He's got a lot of new stuff
Yeah.
about getting police stuff and a lot of it's amazing
Yeah.
material.
He's writing chunks.
Yeah, like
Big chunks of
like
really
6-minute
funny
bits
stuff.
that
Yeah,
are amazing
yeah, yeah.
about this stuff that are super funny, and it makes sense, and I can see myself in the next 4 year writing more feminist stuff, just because every creepo is going to come out of the woodwork.
God, yeah.
I
Fuck.
spend the next 4 years explaining to decent men that there are men that aren't decent, and they're
They
just
gotta know now. They gotta be on board now, right? They gotta
right,
know.
right. You'd think. I'm also talking about cross. I'm done with male comics our age who are like, I don't understand why. I read an article by some guy that was like, okay, Hillary's going to win. She should only do one term, and then she should get out of the way. And I was like, what the fuck?
Who?
It was just that was
Comic?
no, it was not a comic. Other
Okay.
comics. What did I wrote it down because it was just this whole the third party. It was like they're like these white comics that are our age
Yeah.
who are just disappointed that they didn't make it as big as they wanted to in stand up. I mean, me too, brother.
Yeah.
And but now they're like it's the United States is the end of an empire. Also sad. Did not want to be around for it. Third thing, now there's a woman who's going to be president, and that's what breaks them. And they're like, well, what about Jill Stein? And I'm like, stop talking to me about Jill Stein.
God, please.
And you can pretend all you want that she's qualified, but she was on like a city town council or something. And I can't.
the ladders you have to climb to get the amount of power that you need to even run for president, we can't even fathom it,
Right.
And no one's helping you up if you're a female. And I didn't like Hillary because she was Bill's wife. I'm like, ugh, wife.
2 years
Yeah.
ago, I didn't know anything about Hillary Clinton except for what the media had said.
Yeah.
And it was all this stuff about the real estate in Arkansas, and then there was
Whitewater. Yeah.
and then there was these other things, and I never liked Bill. I was not a huge Bill Clinton fan. I voted for him both times
Yeah.
because I am a tax and pay Democrat, quite honestly, and the option was not good. And I have, but I voted for Obama, and he wasn't my first choice because he's fine, but he's a moderate Democrat, and I just know that my anarchic socialist it's not ever going to be that's not what the United States was founded on, right?
Right.
So the things that I've learned about Hillary Clinton in the last 2 years have been fascinating to me because I didn't know anything about her. And granted, I'm more than willing to tell you the things I don't know about her is that because everything I got from articles. I've read
Yeah.
a lot of articles and I've sound bites, montages put together by Meryl Streep or some fuck, right?
Right.
But I've also seen the hate stuff come from the other side, which has made me go down rabbit holes to figure out if that's true.
Yeah, me
And
too.
it's
I'm like,
never
what did
true.
they do in Haiti? What did they? And then you,
What was
then
the
you,
real thing?
you have to read like 7 different, and then you have to remember the Washington Times is crazy, but the Washington Post is not. Washington Examiner slightly crazy. Like you have to go, oh, that one. What,
You have to cull stuff from all these different sources,
Yes.
which I did.
Yes.
And so in the end, 2 weeks out from voting, I could not be a bigger supporter of Hillary Clinton. She is overqualified, and has done such amazing things for women's rights and children's rights and gun control and all these other things. And sure, she's part of the oligarchy. Yeah, we're psyched that there's an oligarchy right now because otherwise Trump gets in. So if you are sad about the Illuminati, well, I'm sorry, you don't like the status quo. But she has always tried to change stuff from within the system.
Yes, she really has.
And that's
She's
what I was raised to do.
always worked with these Republicans who stab her in the back now. I mean, McCain loved her, you know, when they were working together. So.
Right. And probably was perfectly polite to her when they see each other.
That old turd. I'm fucking shoveling money in Ann Kirkpatrick. That's his...
Oh, is that what his people are doing?
Yes. Every time she sends me an email, I send her money.
Oh, God, I hope she wins.
Yeah.
So
He's like 82 or something.
right, but not and a shitty 82.
And
like
a
in the
shitty, craven, groveling 82.
it's all come to fruition. These last 12 years have just eaten away all of his integrity.
Yeah.
Because the guy was okay a dozen years ago. He had a sense of center.
Remember?
I didn't agree with him on everything, but he had a center.
It was like that Jon Stewart Maverick guy where you're like,
Oh, yeah.
all right, I don't agree with you. But yeah. Remember when Sarah Palin was announced and the whole world was like, who the fuck? And then like we didn't know anything about her. And then
Right.
within a week, you know, we knew her daughter was knocked up. But I mean, that's so different from Hillary Clinton where, you know, most of the people have been born after she became a public figure. Like she's just
right.
too known.
Yeah.
And the story about her has been told by people that don't like her for so long.
Right, and it's and the guy comics that I know who are like 50 and who are talking shit about Hillary. I'm like, no, I know you never. That's why you never kept a day job, is because you don't like teamwork. You don't like.
I want a name. I gotta have a name.
You'll get two of them when we fucking hang up this thing.
Okay.
But they're just I had to unfollow them on Twitter, and it was too much work, and I don't even want to talk to them in real life just because of the vitriol that comes out of their faces. And you're like, dude, you have to know that this is something else. Madeleine Albright, that thing on Samantha Bee the other night?
Yeah.
Where Madeleine Albright
I
said
didn't
that she said that many guys don't like women or women bosses or women in power is because of their third grade teacher. And I was
probably
like,
true.
It resonated so hardcore.
I can't wait to see that old face of Hillary's every fucking day telling me about Russia and Iran and things she's passing and legislation she's passing.
Right.
I can't wait to see somebody old and female who's highly competent.
Right. Who's going to be fighting them off with
Leading
her
us.
left hand.
Yeah.
And then doing things
yes.
with her right hand.
Right.
I mean, that's how long this is not her first fucking hate rodeo. So she's going to be able to deal with these bastards.
I know. I wonder, like,
She's no Bill Clinton.
She had this huge rally in Ohio maybe last week, and it was like it was packed and people were going crazy. And I wondered if this is one of, and maybe in the Democratic National Convention, the first times where it's just like pure,
celebrating.
we love you. It's not
Yeah.
we love your husband and you're cool too. It's
Right.
like we love you.
We don't have to like you. Fuck you. You can like her.
But the other thing is, all the stuff she's gone through, I do think Trump has been really good for her candidacy because what she's gone through is so unique and so female. And it really peels her away from the, she was married to Bill Clinton and she's an appendage and it's like he's not in the picture at all.
Right.
This assault is completely on her.
Yeah.
And they're trying, and even the bringing in of the female accusers of him, that's going at her.
Right.
And
they're still attacking her.
The fact that she's still standing and she's doing it really has made this election completely hers, and the presidency, which I'm assuming she's going to get, completely hers as well, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, indeed. I'm so impressed. You know what? I've also, this is off topic, but not because I've been watching Supergirl. I don't know. It's
I haven't.
It's well, no one has. I don't know who has. It's got a
Yeah.
second season, but there's a character who is. Supergirl is Superman's cousin, and Supergirl is her secret identity is she is the assistant to a media conglomerate lady, and the media conglomerate lady is a media conglomerate lady. She's an asshole and just hard edged and all these things, and Supergirl has so many feminist, like there's been these great lines about how, because Kara, whatever her name is, her secret identity, the Clark Kent character, is talking to her boss, and she's trying to defend Supergirl to her boss, and her boss is like, yeah, she has to be better than Superman. She's a woman. She has to be. She has to do what Superman does, but she also has to make it look better, and she has to does it half as good again. And then there was this other thing about how, she tells this story in this one episode. I don't know why I've digressed, but we got time. We got nothing but time.
We got time.
Perry White is throwing his. She said something. That when she worked for the Daily Planet in Metropolis, that Perry White, who is the editor of the Superman's editor, just to let you in on it. Look how patiently she's sitting too. She knows that we gotta really fill some time up.
Seriously.
So
Can you also tell me the plot of Hamilton after this?
oh, I can. So Perry White throws a chair at the window, and the window's not open, and has a temper tantrum. And this woman is telling the story. She said that I was a young reporter, and Perry White did this thing. He threw this temper tantrum, and she said, I can't even imagine how they would have responded if I'd thrown a chair or even a napkin. If I would have ruined my career, no one would have taken me seriously. It would have been a hysterical woman just losing her shit. And I was like, this is a great show for kids to watch.
Oh,
because
interesting.
it's so it is great. Speaking of Hamilton, had Beverly Angelo on the Dork Forest today.
D'Angelo.
That's what I said, didn't I?
You said Angelo.
D'Angelo. Okay, Beverly D'Angelo. Anyway, but it was.
I had to get a word in. Now continue with your story.
Let me hold forth. It'll come out the day after this comes out, and I don't even know what her dorkdom was. I think we just talked about show business, and she had the greatest fucking stories in the world.
How old are her twins?
15.
How old was she when she had them?
It would have been 15 years ago, and she's 60. I think she was like 46.
Wow,
Yeah,
that's pretty
so,
cool.
Pretty cool.
Hang in there, ladies.
Yeah, with the
Because what if you're like a female comic in your 30s right now?
yeah.
Would you
Freeze your
It
eggs.
seems like when
But
I
it's
hear
15 grand, right?
their material, they're all sort of worrying about it right now, whether
Yeah.
or not they should have kids.
Yeah, it's true, and but they don't want to stop the momentum.
Right.
Yeah. Beverly was talking about because she played Patsy Cline in The Coal Miner's Daughter.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and she was talking about Patsy Cline's career and how Patsy Cline went in and out of her career. She only recorded 17 songs.
Wow.
Released 17 songs. She recorded a bunch more, but only released them because she'd do a bunch of songs, and then she had to take 2 years off because she had kids.
And that
then
dude
she'd come
beat her.
back. Well, and then she'd come back.
Yeah.
And then when she was killed, I think she was killed in a plane accident.
Yeah.
I don't know, something like that. In '63, she was the first woman headliner in Vegas. I think is what I think Beverly D'Angelo said, and then
Wow.
she's the highest paid woman in show business at the time.
Wow.
And part of it, I think, was because she kept disappearing to raise her kids and then come back, and then because she decided. There were so many questions I wanted to ask Beverly D'Angelo that were inappropriate. Like, so you recorded all the songs for the Coal Miner's Daughters as Patsy Cline. Do you get royalties on that? That's what I wanted to ask her.
That's not inappropriate. I think you were asking her about Al Pacino's dick or something. That's inappropriate.
She would have told me about Al Pacino's dick. That would have. She was also married to a duke. Did you know she was married to an Italian duke?
No.
She is royalty, and it was an open marriage. And so she would
It's
have
a duke, man.
It's a
right?
duke. They
Can't
were
hold the
getting
duke
some
down.
action. You can't hold the duke down. She was an actress. She was in Hollywood. So they were married for like 10 years, something like that, maybe 15. I don't
Mm-hmm.
know. And eventually she got divorced because Al Pacino was like, well, you can't. I'm not going to go out with you if you're married. And so every other guy was just like, woo, thank God you're married. And she calls the duke and she says, hey, we got to get divorced. There's a guy that I want to get with, and he won't go out with me unless we're divorced. And the duke's like, what guy? What does he do? And she said, he's an actor. And he goes, not an actor. The Duke. And then it comes out that it's Al Pacino, and the Duke goes, oh, I'll divorce you for Al Pacino.
He's Italian, of course.
And so is Beverly D'Angelo. I mean, they're all Italian, but it's like
Yeah.
Al Pacino, it's just a boy thing, where guys are like, the guy from The Godfather, I'll do anything that guy wants.
Sure.
Those are the end of my stories. And now, please begin. Have you gone up recently?
Yes, I had 3 sets last night.
Wow. Here in Los Angeles?
I started at the Viper Room.
Okay.
I haven't seen my son in 20 hours. Started at the Viper Room. That was fun.
Good.
Tammy Jo
Yep.
puts on a great show there. It's an oddly a great venue.
It is oddly a great
It's-
venue. It
it's-
shouldn't be, but it is.
Yeah, different. River Phoenix died out in front of it. It's just an odd place to do stand-up.
It should be more rock and roll.
Yeah,
Something.
Yeah, but it's a lot of fun. Then, Kim Kral had a show in Echo Park at this place called The Whisperer.
Okay.
That was a lot of fun. Got
Sure.
to do 25.
Yep.
Could have done 30, but I was running out of stuff I wanted to do. And then
Okay.
I was like, and then I had to go. And then Flappers.
Oh, you
Closed it out of
closed it at the
Flappers at the Yoo-Hoo.
Nice.
Yeah, it was pretty cool.
You told Barbara we would do a live
I did.
Jackie and Laurie
Yeah, we agreed.
at Flappers. Kyle, you should probably
January
tell somebody.
16th. Have we filled out the paperwork?
I did.
Okay.
Did you?
I'll do mine too.
It was. She sent me 3 different
Clearly
dates, and
we
I'm
should
like, I
do-
don't want to do 3.
Yeah, we got to
live
see if we can
episodes.
handle it live.
Yeah,
We
and
gotta-
well, because I want to do destination Jackie and Laurie's. Quite honestly,
Seriously.
I want someone to fly us. Hopefully, business class. I obviously can't be done, but and then we'll do a live Jackie and Laurie, and then we'll do stand up after,
That would be a lot of fun.
and we'll do heads up. You want to close? What do you want to do? You want to organize this now?
But we can wait.
Okay.
Have you seen Insecure?
No,
It's,
I am insecure. What is it?
You are about the most secure person I've ever met. Please. Please.
Oh my god, that's hilarious.
It's on HBO, and it's Issa Rae, who's not a stand-up, but she's a comedic writer, and actor.
And it's
But it's sort of like
drama.
No, it's comedy. It's half hour.
Oh, it's a half-hour sitcom.
Yes,
Insecure.
And it's fun. It's funny.
Oh,
it's
good.
it's weird. She had a web series. I think it
Of
was like
course she did.
something like
And then, of course,
some-
web series HBO.
yeah, but that's the new thing.
It is the new thing.
I mean, she's African American, so of course the industry wasn't interested in her.
Right, she had to do it herself.
I
She had
read
to
some
build it
article-
out of-
Yeah, where she just said, you just have to make your own thing.
Yeah.
And she did. She made a web. I never watched her web series, so I don't know.
Probably still on there.
Oh,
I might
yeah,
take a
but I
look.
mean, I don't know
What's her name?
what it looks like. Issa Rae, R-A-E.
Okay.
But do you have to? Obviously, it wasn't shot on an iPhone. You know,
Right.
it's semi-professional. Like, where do you get the money for to even go? All right, fuck this industry. I'm going to start my own thing. You
Kyle
still
just
need
told
money.
me, but Kyle just told me that he put together a 5-minute short in 4 days.
From shooting to
10-hour
being done.
shoot to being done. He did him and his girlfriend did it.
Who's holding
10-hour
the
shoot.
camera?
I have a buddy who works as a DP, but it's my camera.
Okay.
And is it just a digital camera, or is it
It's a DSLR.
okay? A DSLR, you guys, just so everyone knows what's being done there. And then you scored it.
I did.
Is this public domain music? What are you doing?
No, it's all original. Just
Oh, you
stuff.
just you and your Casio
Yeah.
bringing it? Okay, fair enough. See, this is what the youth are doing. This is what. Look at this guy.
Don't ever say that again. I am not going to be on a podcast with someone who says that.
You
Do you
started it.
understand?
Don't storm out. Come back. Come back. Fair enough.
But
wait, hey, comic of the week.
Wait, can I? What are you fucking rushing for?
That's true.
We'll get to it. So I'm watching Insecure now. So it's Issa Rae's the lead, and then there's another character named Molly, and so they're sort of single and dating. and Issa Rae raps a lot, and rap has not been part of my world.
Oh, okay.
You know what I
love
mean?
it. Yeah.
You do?
Yeah.
You listen to it on your own.
Yes. Every 3 years, I swear to God.
So it's not. You're not. I mean,
No, I'm
first
not-
of all,
I'm no
we're
Zach Sherwin.
we're at the very top end of people who were young when, like, we were
Right.
young when Sugar Hill came. Like,
Yeah, we were the
so-
same age as
Yeah.
those guys. Yeah. I started listening to rap in 89. I listened to 89 to 92 or
What
93.
did you listen to?
KRS-One, Eric B. and Rakim, Big Daddy Kane. I had a joke about Big Daddy Kane that I occasionally will pull out whenever rap comes up. But then I stopped listening to it while, and then I picked up Common and then Lupe Fiasco, and I would pick up different stuff.
You should give me a play. It never
Okay.
spoke to me.
Right. Well, and weirdly enough, it should have, because it's all spoken. It's a it's a spoken word. You didn't see that coming? That was choo choo. That was fucking coming at you.
No,
Anyway.
I saw Choo Choo coming. The first Choo Choo.
Anyway, so
But
she raps.
but that's like, so it's, you know, I like watching. It's a different, you know, sensibility than mine.
Yeah.
And she and the other character were talking about men, and it was very graphic.
Okay.
And I've never been like lunch with girlfriends talking about dicks.
Nope.
With me.
Yeah, that's why Lady Dynamite was so crazy, because the one scene I did have with
Yeah.
Maria was entirely about blowjobs. And when I got the script, I called Maria and I said, "Have we ever discussed blowjobs as friends for 20 years?" And she was like, "We have not, but we will be."
Yeah. So
On the
because that
TV
was
show.
that was a thing about Sex in the City that also. That and the 5-inch heels, I was like, no, this doesn't
Well,
resonate with me at
But
all.
of course, they're being written by 45-year-old white guys sitting in a closed room. That's who's
well,
writing
Sex in
that
the City
stuff.
was written by a gay man. It's
Right.
Darren Star, so that makes sense that he's going to have
It's all
conversations.
just super dicks
Yeah,
and-
and Kim
and-
Cattrall
yeah.
is basically a gay male character in a female body.
Sure.
But I think this one is written by Issa Rae and you know,
more friends and stuff like
maybe
that.
it's a younger.
It's
it's a millennial thing.
It might be a wow.
or not,
and
are we-
I have to be on a podcast with someone who says
Because
it's a
listen,
millennial
that's
thing?
a fucking term, not the Ute. Like you're an 89-year-old man in a nursing home in
My
Florida.
cousin Vinny. It was a reference to an old movie. I have other references to old.
All our
movies.
references must be young. I used to love how Jenna Krakowski on 30 Rock would young down her references, like her high school memories and stuff. There was,
Oh my God.
There was one storyline where she was pretending all this shit happened when she was in high school. And
That is
obviously
so fucking funny.
It was really funny.
I loved that show.
It was so great.
Yeah, such a great-
Unappreciated.
Yep.
Very appreciated and still
Appreciated and
unappreciated.
still not enough. It's not enough for me.
But yeah, it's you know, it's good. And then you know, Shirley Chisholm, she was a Democratic
yeah, yeah.
representative, first
Yeah.
female African American female to run for president in like 72, like
Right.
a real run, you know.
right, and she's in the House of Reps, right?
She's dead
was.
now.
Oh, she
but
died?
she had this kind of quote that was being passed around as if, you know, if there isn't a seat for you at the table, bring up a folding chair.
Okay.
And I think web series are the folding chairs
Definitely,
of comedy.
definitely. And I tried to do one
Because Broad City came from a web series as well.
series as well.
Yeah.
yeah. Nah, so be it. So yeah, so get out there. Who is the comic of the week?
Emily Heller.
Oh, that's right,
Yes.
Mr. Emily Heller.
Yes.
it's at Mr. Emily Heller on Twitter.
Yeah.
I'm having breakfast with her tomorrow.
Oh, you are?
Yeah, it's for her birthday. I told her I'd take her to do a
That's
meal,
nice.
and she's like, "Will you drive to Los Feliz at 10 a.m.?" And I was like, "Wow, yes,
Sounds
I-
delicious.
It'll be delicious. It'll be lovely. I'm sure it'll be deglorious. Whatever. Fucking, I don't know.
It'll be Mr. Delicious.
Yeah. So Emily Heller, great comic.
Super funny. It's just had a half hour on Comedy Central. You
Right.
can probably find it on, ComedyCentral.com or Hulu
Sure,
or whatever.
I'm sure they've cut it up into a million pieces on Comedy Central already.
and she released the CD a little
And-
while ago.
right.
Yeah. Super
And-
funny, smart.
Writing on some show on HBO right now.
Yeah.
and but does stand up regular as well.
Yep.
I did a bunch of sets. I did Uncab, which was amazing, quite honestly.
Did you tell a whole new story?
I did. I've been working on this premise, and Uncab's okay for a premise.
Mm-hmm.
And this premise is about consensual marital sex. Because there's a lot of articles out currently
Because
about
Ivana Trump,
Right, right,
yeah,
'cause there was a lot
accused
of-
her husband of raping her.
right while they were married, and
Mm-hmm.
and then it came out that it only became illegal for men to rape their wives in what, 94? Is that when it was? It was
Wow.
late. It was super not that long ago. And so the premise is it's all premise now, and it's just such a shock jockey kind of thing that I don't have any punchlines about it. It's just essentially because it comes off of the fact that all of my marriage stuff right now is just this, because we're in the 10th year of being married, and we're 13 years together. And so
That's cool.
It's pretty amazing how long it's lasted and stuff, but we've both gotten used to each other so much that I think that there's stuff here that I never even saw coming. Like in a relationship that lasts that long, it's just sort of like,
Like what?
well, like I don't want to go places. I don't want to go and visit my family for a week, right?
Yeah.
I don't want to go and do certain work things. There's parties and there's Hollywood moments and there's all this bullshit, and I don't want to go to them. And so I would go to them if he wanted to go to them because I like him and I want to hang out with him.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't ask him to go because I think that they're dumb.
Yeah.
Or they're boring, or I'm not going to, but I would go if he wanted to go, but I don't ever give him even the option because I'm like, well, they're dumb. Why don't I just stay home with him? And because I'm on the road, especially lately. Cause
Yeah,
I'm on the
yeah.
road so
Well,
much.
that's totally understandable.
Yeah. So I had a little meltdown with him not long ago where I wanted him to come home to visit my family, but I refused to ask. I wanted him to read my goddamn mind. And in the end, I got vaguely resentful and just started crying at him like a crazy person. I don't cry a lot. I usually cry when I've hurt.
You are not a crier.
When I hurt myself, like if I don't know, if I've been in a car accident or somebody's punched me. These are times when I cry.
I like how somebody punching you is you hurting yourself. You still do have some things to work
I might
through.
have some issues. Okay, and so but so
When I get myself raped, that's when I really feel sad.
right when I ask for it with my clothings, but so. I was crying, and he was like, what's going on? What's going on? And I said, will you come with me to the house with my family and hang out with me? And he was like, yes, I will. Why was it such a big, what happened? And I said, he said, why didn't you just ask me? And I said, I didn't want to be a burden. This is this whole thing about being a burden, right? And then he laughed in my face, which I think is the best response to being married to a comic, is to laugh in their face. And he didn't laugh at me; he just laughed. And then the only punchline I have is what he actually said, which was, "That's what marriage is. We're a burden on each other." And then I turned it in, and then it goes into this other thing that I'm already doing about game mechanics and stuff, and how everything's a game to him. But
Oh, I thought you said gay mechanics.
so did
Like,
Zach
how does that
Sherwin.
go into that?
So did Zach Sherwin, because Zach Sherwin went up. That's the reason I brought it up, is because Zach Sherwin went up and he raps, right? That's how he does his stand up. He writes a bit in rap form. And it was, of course, as almost every single thing I've ever seen him do is just blown me away. It's just, he's such a great comic. And Jen Kirkman, I was sitting with her, and she leans forward and she was like, he's rapping his act. And I said, yeah. And she said, well, now why don't I do this? I said, because you're not Zach Sherwin. And then she got up and told the greatest story. It was so, it's just, and then afterwards she said, yeah, I might be an essay. And I was like, no, do it as a bit, because I'm a boss, because I'm bossy. And I'm like, do it as a bit. I mean, do whatever you want with it, obviously. She's listening. Hi, Jen. And, hi, Jen. Jen Kirkman. And she should be a comic of the week one time. Maybe next week.
Yeah.
In 10 minutes.
You're right. Sometimes I forget, like, I think if someone's super, super successful, they don't need, but everyone needs a little,
just a
little
bump.
leg up. Yeah.
Because she's successful, but I'm sure she would like the people who've never heard of her to go check it out.
Yes, my favorite. I love it when John Hodgman, she'll like tweet her schedule, know, and then someone will say, when are you coming to town X, where she was just last week?
Right.
And then she'll tell them to subscribe to her newsletter so this doesn't
Right.
happen again. And then this happened, and then John Hodgman tweeted, I never tire of this. It's true. It happens all the time.
It happens so fucking funny. And then I did a set last night at the Lyric Hyperion, with Jamie Loftus. Jamie Loftus, a young comic who I
Yeah.
think just moved here from the Bay Area, maybe. Anyway, she does animation. Speaking of bringing your own folding chair.
Wow.
Because I don't think anyone's hired her to do animation.
Yeah.
She's like, I want to make cartoons. I know how to work this animation program. I'm going to do it. And then she does stand-up.
Oh, wow.
And then we did stand-up. It was me and Claire. I forgot her last name. Anyway, and
Yeah.
yeah, a lot of people's names. They're gone. Where are we at, Kyle? How are we doing?
We were at 104.
What the fuck? You were so
I
stop us.
I warned her. I gave her the hand signal. She kept talking. Be mad at her.
Wait, Jackie kept talking?
Well, I'm out of here.
Bye.
Now leaving Nerdist.com.